Alright, so far what we have in the web app is index page where you display all the posts and being able to create posts given the name and the description. But yeah, we don't really link the post to any user, so we can also say auth login, and this allows you to log in with GitHub, right? Well, I mean, I guess for some reason GitHub wanted me to do the code thing, but anyway, so we can do that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, now if we try to go back to our login, we should get redirected back to here because we are already authenticated, right? So I think that's decent. Anyway, what I wanted to do next was, I mean, from the tutorial from GitHub, we have basically this step, right? So we get the code, do all the oauth flow, right, to get the access token. But now we can actually use the access token. I mean, we can use it for all kinds of stuff. So we can check the scopes, for example. Let's say we can also make authenticated requests, right? So we can make requests to API GitHub user, right? So that we can get back stuff like email, name, and yeah. So like the auth request, and we can display that info, right? We can make right now we don't have it, but we can make a user page, let's say, right? So where we can display some information. Now I think this would be interesting, implementing persistent authentication, because yeah, like makes sense. Because it would be a pretty bad web app if you have to log in each time you go on the website. Especially imagine if you have 5-factor authentication. Imagine having to open 5 apps to just log in. Anyway, so it is like part of the tutorial, obviously. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Now this example is made in Ruby, but for us it's not that important because I mean, I can read it, not really know the language that well, but I can figure out what happens, right? Like if you're not authenticated, it will try to authenticate, right? So I think this is like, to be honest, I'm not sure what this means, but I would say that tries to go to this page or something, like, anyway. But if you are authenticated, we get the access token from sessions. We know how to do that in Go. We have session, so we can do the same thing. And in the callback, I see that they put the access token in the session. Right. To be honest, it makes sense. So yeah, I'm not sure what the rescue. I think it's a try catch. I think it looks like a, not necessarily like a try catch, but I'm not sure if in Ruby the get request like throws an error. But let's say that you try to make an authenticated get to GitHub user, whatever, to the API, and the access token is no longer valid. So you would get back a 401 or something, I guess. So we can check if it's 200, then you can use the auth result, otherwise you cannot, right? And another cool thing is not forgetting to set the access token that we have on our backend to null or something, like to delete it, because you know, if it's revoked or expired or something like that, you cannot use it anymore, right? So that would be the idea. I mean, here if the request succeeded, we check the scopes, but well, I guess really curious though, what would be the result of this get request, because here we check the scopes, and if the scopes includes email, then we send the request for email. Like, I was hoping that this request gives you all the details and you don't have to do it one by one, but no, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, we would have to save the access token, right? You know, ideally I think saving the access token should be done, you know, in some sort of database, like maybe in a Redis database, since, you know, it's more like a cache. Don't really know for sure, but I mean, let's try to follow these examples. So we have our auth stuff right here, right? So hopefully it looks similar to what's on the GitHub thing, but never know. So for login, you know, this is not in the, it's like in the previous part, but we generate a random state, make the request to, well, I guess we save this state in the session, and we go to the auth code URL, which is you know, from GitHub, the login authorize, where I mean, you saw the screen where I clicked the green button from GitHub. This is the page basically. So it lets you say that you accept to let this web app use your access token to do stuff for you, basically. So yeah, then is the callback, which is the one from here, right? So we take the code that we saved in the state just to check that the request was made by the same person, because you know, this is like another endpoint, so anyone can call it, right? So we have to make sure that this was actually called by GitHub, you know. Then we take the code from the query, because GitHub is going to send us a code, and we, I think, make a post request to where's the URL? Oh yeah, to, you know, the access token URL. So we get back an access token. So here we get the body, and then we get a token response, which contains the access token, scope, and token type, right? So, and we get redirected to slash, so to index page, right, like here. Now sure, we can t.print f. Let's show the what's it called? Oh my god, the token scope. Let's show that, just that, and see. So if we go to auth login, we get user scope, right? So TO7 is redirected, right? I think. We can even see that, yeah, redirected. Okay, so the next step, as we see in this thing, would be, now, not really sure. I guess we kind of have to now add this authenticated everywhere. So it kind of sucks, you know, like writing this authenticated in all, let's say, like, no, in all routes. So it would be nicer to have a middleware for checking authentication. That would be nice. But first let's try to, well, I mean, let's save the access token first of all. So let's do the same thing as we did for state, right? So we just copy paste this, and wait, we already have session or what? Oh, we already have session here. Session is sessions. So since we already have it, right, access token, we can set the access token to token, I think. Right, so now we'll be able to retrieve the access token. Okay, and we also have this authenticated, which checks if the session contains access token. Okay. Yeah, like, you know, you can set this session to be, you know, Redis session and stuff, but for these purposes it's fine to be a cookie session. Okay, so I mean, yeah, sure. Let's actually redirect to user, right, for the moment, and let's go into main and add this route. So we are gonna have /user, let's say get user page. We don't have this function yet, so we have to implement it. So let's go here, get user page. It's gonna get a context. Right, so we actually need to add that thing, get user page, and yeah, so as in the auth stuff, we are gonna require the session. We'll try to do the middleware afterwards, but for now I just want to see some user and stuff. So we are gonna have a user.html page, right? And let's check if session contains access token. Right, so I guess, yeah. So how this I think I want to work is we check something like this, but we are gonna try to get what happens if we try to get something that doesn't exist? Like, what if we try to say something like access token is equal to oh my god, is equal to this, right? But what if the thing doesn't exist? And like, we don't really have a not sure if we have like a check if exists or something. That kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Anyway, so we can do this kind of request now, right? And to do requests, I mean, we already do some requests in this stuff, so we can reuse code from here. Well, let's just copy paste everything for the moment, and we need this API. Okay, so let's just copy this thing, and again we might do some, you know, better stuff for this, but for now it's fine to just hardcode everything. So we're gonna have query parameters with the access token. Oh, and yeah, when I did here, I actually have query parameters. I mean, let's just now have this kind of function for the view controller, which is gonna make API user URL. Okay, and we need to pass the access token. So access token should be like that. Okay. Okay, and here we put the access token. So that's all we need. All right, and for this thing, okay, I put extra stuff, but that should do it. So p.api user URL. Oh, I mean, yeah, usually you have variables like this, right? Access token. But for this we just need a token. Or what? Oh, we have to parse it or something. It's like interface. Like, how can we say something like the type? I cannot really set the type. Golang session interface to type. But I mean, oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot. We saw yesterday that you do something like this, right? To cast stuff in. Well, no. Good. It's like we need the import, right? It's in models oauth. but we already import this, so you can convert a slice. Wait, what? So we need, yeah, models dot, and this should have access token on it. Access token. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, a bit of fumbling the stuff, but it's fine. Yeah, interestingly enough, these well, they save only the access token, which is fair. Yeah, we can do the same then, just to not deal with this stuff. So if we go to auth, right, not this auth but the controller, when we set the token, we can actually just put the access token, right? So now this should be a string, right? The access token should be a string. Okay. So what's next? Making a post request, which is gonna accept JSON. Yeah, it's gonna accept JSON, and we put the token in the query parameters, right? We do that, and it's a GET request, so we don't need a body. So we don't need the body, but we need, wait, what? And do we still need to put a body? That's weird. But anyway, we make a GET request to that URL, right? And we are gonna accept JSON, like in this example. So I was just thinking, maybe we want to have a pointer to string so we can check for nil, but we'll see on that later, right? For now, no. Maybe we'll be able to abstract this away somehow, but yeah. So we read the response that we get from the thing, right? And I'm curious to see what we have in the body. So we are not gonna parse it yet. I guess we can comment this out because it's not gonna happen, and let's fmt.println the body just to see what we have. And sure, at some point we'll have to make this user.html page, so in templates, user.html. Whatever, some warnings. So if we go to auth login, it should actually, I think, redirect us to user. Okay, and we get back some binary data. Okay, so at least we get some data. All right, To be honest, I would add here like type, but not now. So it looks like body is bytes. So let's convert it to a string actually. So if we go back to user, we get must specify access token. Wait, what? I thought that params. Maybe this is part of the via authorization header. I mean, makes sense to do it like that, but weird that the example shows query parameters. Am I wrong with that? So then it means that we don't really send it in the query parameters actually, right? So no, we don't even need this function then. So let's just pass the access token in the authorization. So authorization, and probably it's gonna be better. So fmt.sprintf, and we are gonna have better, although no, we kept the token response. Oh my god. We have the token type, which I think is gonna be better. So let's see if that would be important now. Access token. So we put it in the authorization. Fine. Right. Let's go back for a second in controller auth, and let's see fmt.println token type. I'm curious to see what the token type is. So if we go to auth login, one second, what? Am I blind? Login. I thought I printed the token type. So when we go to auth login, we get a callback and then we get a message. Okay, I don't get it. Let's redirect to slash. Okay, let me just kill this thing and oh, so in view we have a small error. Okay, so now it should work. If we go to auth login, we should be able to see the fact that it's better, right? Like maybe this is useful, but we are gonna assume that it's gonna be better for us too. So, and again, this maybe should redirect to user. So if we go to user, we should get back some stuff, right? So we get the login, we get avatar URL, right, to show some stuff. Well, we get quite a lot of stuff back. It's kind of concerning, to be honest, but you know, like all of these are public, right? So this is like an image. Okay, so I mean, I'm more interested probably in the login, right? So or the name. Let's try to get the name, because that would be nice to display, I guess. Oh, okay, so let's do GitHub user. So we are gonna have a name, and the name is with lowercase. It's gonna be a string, and the JSON is gonna be name, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to tell you if there are any other objects, so the easiest way is to echo this into JQ. Well, it's not the easiest way. But like what I think is we have this squarely brace, then we have two closing square braces. Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe it's name, maybe it's just name, and let's see. So we try to unmarshal the GitHub user, right? Okay, do some stuff, and it's gonna be called user. Obviously it's the user, and now we can print the user, right? So let's see. Okay, so we get the name. Perfect. And I mean, in my opinion, it's enough for the moment. So here should be like user. Was it like this? Don't remember. Yeah, it's like that. So now we can use the user on our page. It's pretty ugly pages, but I mean, if they do the job, they do the job, right? So that's the purpose of this. So we are gonna have here a user view, and let's just put the name. So if we refresh, I think we need to rename this to user view. So you should get the name, right? So that's pretty nice. Okay, if I hard refresh it, does it work like this? Okay, yeah. So we click on authorize, right? Get redirected back to the user page. That's pretty neat. If we hard refresh this one, it's still logged in. I wanted, to reset the session. User. I guess, like if we close the backend and hard refresh this, it should remove all the pretty strange. I don't know how to clear the session, and I don't really want to go in the settings. But this is how we would persist, right? We would save the access token in some kind of session, and you'll be able to get your name, get stuff, all of that. So maybe the other thing that we want to keep is the login. So where is, oh my god, how many, the login, just to use like an ID actually. Alright, just I wanted to have like an ID associated with the posts. So we can use either the login name, the ID, or maybe the email, I don't know. And I guess doesn't really matter, because what we can actually do is, let's go into the models for oauth, right? So we have the GitHub user, right? But what if we actually also have user for our database? So let's copy paste this and say something like users.go, and let's rename this to user. Like users, I mean, it's finally time we add back the users. I think we deleted them. So let's say the user is gonna have an ID, right? Capital letters, I guess, I don't know. So the name is gonna be ID, primary key, whatever, all sorts of stuff. Sure, JSON ID. Then we're gonna have a name. I don't know what's the limit on GitHub, but should be enough. Binding required, I think, you know, this is for reading it, so yeah. And I think what's important is not really saving the access token here. I think that's one thing, right? So maybe also having GitHub username, which is going to be a string. GitHub username, all right? Well, I guess I would rename this like this. I don't know what binding is for, so I'm gonna remove it. Created at, I don't know if it's really that important, but you know, since it doesn't do anything, we'll keep it. But yeah, like we need some way to be able to easily link a user from our database to a GitHub user, and I think username is how we do it, because you can change your name, but I don't think you can change your username. Might be wrong, I haven't tried it yet, but yeah. So I think this is how we do the users, right? So now let's go back here and also add the login. JSON login. So we can create this thing from the GitHub user. Okay. So now if we go back to our creating the user would be nice, but you know what I what kind of kept bothering me a bit was these we make all of these requests to the database and they all look pretty much the same, so we can maybe create some way to refactor it a bit and not have the database request directly in the controller, so you can have like a repository thing which is going to have the requests, right? So I think that would also be a thing we can do to remove some of the duplicates. Yeah, like a small, how is it called, like intermission. And I guess adding the user can be done here, although no, shouldn't be done here. Yeah, anyway, we'll see about that. So let's say repositories, right? And for now the only repository that we have is posts. Go package repositories, type post struct. So, well, you know how we made the controller for posts, right? Like this. We can do an interface again. I think posts repository interface, and it should have like similar to this. Right, get post, it should have all of these functions basically. And here let's say that we are going to use context instead of that one. It's also like maybe interesting to know how to do this, right? How are we gonna do this stuff? Obviously here we need to pass in some stuff, so it's not really just that, but we'll see what we need, right? So probably here we are gonna need the slug string, right? For getting everything, I think we might use, you know, like limit, offset, maybe user ID when we are gonna add the user ID to filter by user. Create post clearly needs a post, right? Models dot post. For updating a post, no, I would say we need, well, it's a UUID though. We are gonna need the ID and probably a post, right? And for deleting a post, UUID something like this. Right, and share controller posts. At this point we can create this thing, which now is gonna take, this is posts repository but with lowercase p. And now instead of taking a database in the controller, we are going to take it in the repository, and this is going to take in the repository, right? So this is going to take in here repo repositories dot post repository, right? So this is how it's going to work, and in here too. So repo, although I think maybe as a pointer, right? Repositories post. So we are no longer gonna use ban in here. I think makes it a bit cleaner. So let's refactor them one by one. So get post, right? What it's gonna do, we're gonna take this thing from here and we're gonna say post is equal to p.repo.getPost. And we pass in a context and a slug. Anyway, so what do you say that we need? Yeah, like, this requires a context, but I don't really want to say that it's gene context. It's weird. Can't we does not implement? And I'm pretty sure that this is like still a context. Anyway, so we need the same thing as we did here, right? A new function, so new posts repository. Oh, and this is gonna require the db, which I think was like ban.db. Did posts repository, and here posts repository. All right. And the next thing would be to actually do the functions, like get post. Oh, and I think what's interesting about this one, this should actually return models.post or error. And also the slug UID. But yeah, not sure. Okay, again, rename the thing. Okay. Okay, let's see why does it complain here. So it needs to be like this. What? I'm not really sure. Okay, anyway, so here we need to return nil and error because we have an error. Oh. Well, anyway, can I do post error and then be able to say stuff like this? Looks like so. Okay. Oh, and we actually need to say models post and error, right? So here we get back post error. If error is not equal to nil, then I deleted that stuff, but it's fine. Let's undo this one until we get back the old stuff. Okay, because I just wanted this. Okay. So we just set the status, and now get posts works like this. Yeah, I think it's fine. So the next thing would be to copy paste this. Posts repository, get posts, context. I said that we don't really care about what we return, we just want a list of posts probably, so let's just say it's a models.post. We don't even need the parentheses, right? Fine. Create post. We'll see what it returns. Let's keep it simple for now. So this creates like this variable. We scan. It actually also can return error, like it's not that can have an error. And I guess here we can say posts and error again. So we can easily just return. I think that looks good. Here we can say repo, posts and error, get posts, and we need to pass in the context, right? And everything should work as before. But now, right, if we go into view, I mean, we'll change view afterwards. Let's not start too many refactoring branches, you know. So this one, creating a post. I mean, this one has to read a post like this. Don't really have an option. So repo posts. Yeah, but what did it return? I think it returned a full post for some reason. Why not? Okay. So let's basically take this entire thing. Sure. So again, it can return models post or error. Right. It's pretty weird that it returns back the post, but it is what it is. So context, post, models, post. Okay, so we don't need this. Easy. We just need post repository for this part. and just execute insert. Right. So yeah, obviously we need like the ID of the post. So can I do something like this? Oh, you cannot mix name and unnamed parameters. Well, it is what it is in this case. Let's post error. Yeah, because we cannot, I don't think we can reuse post in here. Like post is redeclared, right? Anyway, so we have repo.create post, c and post. So, oh, I mean, you know, maybe we can say that this is a pointer and it changes it. That could also work. But I don't know. Let's go next. I mean, you know, yeah, we'll see. Maybe it starts to make sense to have not the post structure here, but have a separate structure that has only name and description. But we'll see. Maybe we'll do that after we finish with the refactoring of this. So this is update. See, I remember that update was the most painful one. So context takes in the takes in all of this stuff, and I think, what does it return? Interesting, it doesn't return anything, which to be honest makes sense because it's okay, you updated the post, you already have it. So let's be real. I mean, honestly, I would return the new post and error, so the same as for this one, right? Like, what do you want to do? Models, post and error. So we don't care about the parameter, we don't care about this part. We might want to set post slug to slug. Okay, that makes sense. Then we start a new update. Right, start a new update. If the error is not nil, then we return post and error, obviously, and here we return post and error. Well, am I going crazy? We should just return post. Even for this one. What the hell? I mean, yeah, because we don't need any checks. I don't know what I was thinking, I'll be honest, because we don't do anything. Like if it's an error, we just, you know, pretty much just return. Yeah. So now in this one, I mean, we just get rid of this. So instead of doing that, we just repo update post, slug and post and context. So we just got rid of that. And then we have delete. Right, we have delete. We should see all the errors disappearing at some extent. So now, yeah, delete. I don't know if you like, what do you have to return in delete? Maybe the UUID that you actually deleted and error, I guess, just to have something. So again, we don't care about parsing, we only care about doing the delete, right? And then regardless of all of that, we return the slug and the error, right? So in here we repo delete post slug. So this should work the same. So now we don't have any errors in this one. We should have everything fine here. But now if we go to main, here it complains that well, we don't use DB, we have to use something else. So let's do posts pository, new post repository, and here we pass the DB, and here we pass the repository. We basically inject it, I guess. I don't know. Does it compile? It seems to be compiling, which is fine. So if we go to the main page, we see the post still works. And it seems to still be working, which is nice. Yeah, still works. We don't have automatic refresh, but it is what it is. So yeah, and what I wanted to do was the same thing but for views, right? And what's interesting is that we don't even need to do that. Like, we don't need to do all these steps. We can just reuse the post repository in here. Isn't that cool? Isn't that amazing? So, and we can even go into this one and still from here go to view. So add that, and like we can borrow some stuff from that side. Okay, so bunny is no longer used. Perfect. And see here, when we try to get all the posts, what if instead of calling the database we just repo dot get posts, and we have to pass in the context. Oh, and posts, right? Pretty neat. So instead of having the get posts twice, we have it only once inside of get posts. So if it's something wrong with it, like this is my logic, if we have some bug in this thing, it's easier to fix it, I guess. I don't know. And after that we also have this one, which we can do something like post error equal prepo get post, right? Let's just Oh, when you have undefined, you have to use this. Right, so we don't have to worry about how that works. It's just this, not found. So I think sounds good. Looks good to me now. And you know, obviously, when we are gonna do the users table or whatever, we are gonna have another repo in here for users. I think it makes sense. So yeah, I think this is mainly why you want to have repositories and stuff, just to not have duplicated queries all over the place. And yeah, looks a bit better. Now, this can go in the same file, but I'm too lazy to move it right now, so it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, now we actually are able to authenticate users, redirect you to the user page. And I think what's next is, okay, let's make a small commit. Add users and the repo, whatever. I mean, it still works, right? Go build. Seems to still be working. And we can run main like this, right? Just to test. Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't work. What? It's crazy. Huh. It means that something's wrong. So, but it's strange because like a second ago it was, oh, it was working because, yeah. So when we do get post, it doesn't look like we save. Like, not really sure how this thing works. fmt.print ln post. It's not with a reference, so let's do air. So that's why. So it has default values. It's really nice. Oh, but what's the error then? Because surely it got an error, right? Non-pointer models. But no, it's strange because in view, right? So here, oh, it's like new returns a pointer. Oh my god, I knew it. I knew it was something like this, some stupid like that. Okay, so here we need to pass in a pointer. That's all. Yeah. No, it's I thought that Go is more like strongly typed, but it's more like C. It's weakly typed. And you know, it made sense to use pointer since it modifies it, but yeah. So now it works fine. Okay. Yeah. So let's add that change to our commit. Okay. So sure. Now it's fine. What was I forgot what I wanted to do. I think, yeah, like adding the users and stuff. So like the posts, right? Like I would think that we need a user reference in this one. So No, and I think it's time to create that post DTO object, because like this is the thing that is gonna be sent with the request. I don't know what binding is for, I don't remember, to be honest, so let's just remove it. But well, I guess it's for when you do the dot bind, right? Let's leave it. So it's not gonna have anything to do with ban. That's the idea. I think it's gonna be something like this, just JSON. So we are gonna parse it and, you know, add it in here. And again, it doesn't really need any information about the user either, because the user is gonna be computed on the server, right? So that's a good idea. So now let's go into repositories and change it here. All right, change it here first. So instead of post, let's do post DTO. Let me think about it for a second. Like, no, I would rather say that these should only handle the post because they are database related. It makes more sense like this. And actually the controller itself, or I guess in this case, you know, if we do create posts in multiple places, it would make sense to do a post service. But as I said, create post is going to take in a post DTO, and now this fails. And I think update post should be the same, post DTO. Right, like when you want to create a post or update a post, you don't really want to send created time or the ID. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, you need this. And we just need to be able to convert from this thing into our post. Right, so let's go to this place, and now we can have a function func new post, and it should get as an argument the post DTO, and it should return a post. Right, there's no errors that can happen. So return post Malone, new post, and we pass in the name. So name is gonna be dto.name, and description is gonna be description. I think this should be enough. Right. So we can maybe rename it just to save some space, and models.new post DTO. Right, like this is how I would do it. Maybe. And now you cannot really send the ID and stuff, so it's better. This is gonna be like this. Models.new post DTO. I mean, yeah, it's strange that update doesn't really return nicely. I want to return the post, bro. status okay. So let's see, and we create it. Okay, perfect. I think I like this one more now. So yeah, I mean, it should behave the same. Oh, I think, right? fmt in posts. Which posts? Repositories. And it now compiles. So everything works as before. So the name and some description, and we get back the stuff. Yeah, so everything seems to be working. No, what minus. So now, right, I would add here the user, like it's time, basically. It's time. No, ban documentation. Let's see. Whatever. How can we maybe define table relationships? It's a good idea. So this is nice. Straight up what we needed. Okay. So it's exactly what we have. They have a story. We have a post, and then we have author, which is a user. That's exactly what we want. Oh, we also need author ID. Makes sense, right? So let's add the author ID. Well, I said no, it's fine. Yeah. This is gonna be the author ID. So let's say ban. They don't really put anything on the story, but maybe we can put something like foreign key and stuff, at least that it's author ID. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it like this for a second. Maybe also let's add the JSON author ID. Okay, scanning table results. Okay. Anyway, belongs to, I like this one, so let's just copy it because it's basically what we want. Oh, and it's what's even nice about it. See, like we already have the user, so we have the ID like this, the GitHub username, and this is what we link with GitHub, and the name, right, which is, you can set it. So yeah, I think like this, and here it says join, and I think it's author ID. It's this one with ID from the user, so with this ID. See example for more detail. Let's see the example. Hopefully it has more stuff on it. So primary key, not really. Maybe it knows how to do all of this. Because I wanted to set some restrictions on it. Where's the tags and stuff? golang ban tags. Okay, so these are all the tags. Minus select primary key, not null, unique. I mean, they don't really have foreign key, right? So we should have not null, probably. Not null, probably. Wait, where's the thing? Okay. Not null doesn't really have to be unique because you can have multiple things, like multiple, you know, posts. So, oh, use this field to scan and ignoring select insert update. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, since you say here it's relationship, I would expect to be automatically ignored or something. Yeah. Now I'm curious if there is foreign key. Well, it is what it is. We don't have that, so yeah, I guess it is what it is. So we have, oh, it's the reverse or what? Yeah, who cares, bro? I think has one join ID. Yeah, it's really weird, but sure, whatever makes sense. Yeah, whatever. I guess it's enough. So we have all of this stuff, right? And if we go in auth, I said that, no, in this one, oh, it's already created. Perfect. Okay. So let's see. No, but yeah, I mean, probably should be good. But let's see. No, I would first of all just delete the database just to restart it. And what's interesting about the migrations is that you don't really say the table names. You just, you know, put it like, I mean, it's, you know, custom scripts basically, so yeah, more like it is what it is probably. Because they are not automatic, let's say, they are just, so they are not, you know, really, you know, weird migrations, but it's init and migrate. Okay, so now we should have the posts and the users, right? So let's see. basically if we are gonna try to add a post right now, it shouldn't work, I think, because the author ID is gonna be 000. I mean, it makes sense maybe, but why did that happen? Let's see. So in controllers, posts, when we create a post, we just send this stuff. So yeah, here I think comes in the middleware stuff, checking for authenticated user, because you shouldn't be able to create a post without being authenticated or something. So yeah, but I mean, no, it kind of works. And maybe yeah, there are quite a few things to do, to be honest. Like adding the user in the database, that's the first thing. And we can do something scuffed, and I was just thinking maybe adding the user at this point or something. Well, we can have a function new user. It's gonna be a GitHub user, and we are gonna return a user. So, oh, but we need GitHub username is gonna be u.login name. Right, something like this to create a user and stuff. Okay, so and this would allow us to save the user. And what's funny about this is we probably need this kind of stuff, but for user, not go. Users, probably get user by some kind of ID. Don't know yet if I want to get users, but we'll see. Get users should be like a list. We need create user. Like that. Update user. Makes sense to be able to update the user. And what I think, oh no, yeah, it should be fine. Delete user. No, I think like this. We have the user repository, new user repository. Good. User repository. Okay, fair enough. And let's just go through all of this stuff. User, yeah, basically we want to get the user. Maybe an idea I can use is, let's replace posts with users GI. Let's also replace lowercase posts or lowercase post with user. So now we have get users. Yeah, it should have been maybe like this. So yeah, because it's basically the same thing. So user ID is equal to ID, and the delete. Right, we need to be careful about select here. It needs to be ID. So now it should be working fine, right? So get user, get all the users, create, update, whatever. Yeah. So I mean, my idea is when you first log in, it's gonna create a user, but when you log in afterwards, it's gonna do update just in case you change your name or something. No. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how that should work. So obviously, it would make sense to have an API like for posts, which allows you to do stuff on the user. But I don't know if that's the case. So anyway, the auth controller, to me it makes sense that it needs some kind of reference to this repo, right? Makes sense, right? And probably we need to do the creation of the user here, or something like that. So say repo user repository. Now I guess it's not the best name because because maybe we want another repo and we need to change the name, but it is what it is for the moment. So now we need, oh, and this sucks because we need to do the same thing twice again. See, now it makes sense to have a service for authentication, but let's first go into main and let's create the users repository. New user repository dd. I fucking user repository. Okay, perfect. So now the thing should work. Right. So let's go into view. And let's just like just for now, let's copy it because we'll see better how why we need the thing, right? Why do we need that entire thing? So here on the callback, let's do a fmt.println user, right? So now if we go to our auth login, we should see here the user, right? It's printed, so it made the request and stuff. Pretty nice. So if we take the example from posts with what was it, like this thing, but I mean it's create. Right, we need to create user. And let's say user. I mean, no, we can call it DT or whatever. Don't really care. Okay, now we have this user, right? So let's do again fmt.println user. And what I think I want is the GitHub username to be also unique, right? It's not null and unique because it's gonna be like one-to-one key or something. So is there unique? I wanted to see all the tags. Where's all the tags? Dude, really? I did ban tags. It's incredible. So we have unique. Okay, so yeah, I mean, should be unique. Should be is a good word. So famous last words. Let's see what happens if we do auth login. Okay, so it gives us, you know, the ID of the user, the name, stuff, and the date, created date or something, UTC created date. Anyway, so if we try to do auth login again, I think it should fail, right? Or what? It created another one? Oh, that's, oh, obviously, because the table, okay, so we would have to do this, init again, migrate, and now it should work because we didn't have the change. Okay, so we do the login, or just strangely enough, looks like a small bug. Yeah, I don't know what this was about. Didn't look right though. Okay, so maybe it's like it fails, right? Because it should fail here with error. So let's say if error is not equal to nil, I mean, we can try to just return, not show anything basically. Let's see, or I mean, let's abort with the error and let's see what happens. Auth login. So it should say that duplicate key. Okay, yeah, so seems to be fine. But as I said, like, we want maybe to check if the user exists, and if the user exists, then we update the user, but still fine. So see, it didn't go back to user. Go to the main page. Now the idea would be, but you know, maybe we'll do that next time, to associate posts with users, with the logged in user, basically. So yeah, I guess I guess that's all for today then. So I'll just leave the print here. So decent progress, I might say. So yeah, I guess user stable, right? So yeah, see you in the next one.